Hey y'all, today I'm going to be making a lima bean and cornbread cake, and the reason I call it cake is because when you make a pan of cornbread, usually it's called a cake of cornbread or a cornbread cake. But anyway, this is going to be layered, and if you don't like limas or just want to use a different bean, you can, like pintos or Great Northern or just whatever kind of beans you want to do. But the first thing we need to do is get the beans on cooking, so I'm going to show you that. So here's my pot. I'm going to turn the burner on high. I'm going to cook or put in these beans. And when you cook dried beans, you really have to keep an eye on the water because the beans soak it up so much that you might think you put enough water when you really need to add some more. And then I'm gonna put, this is my bacon grease container, and I'm gonna put a little bacon grease just to flavor the beans. And my mother always told me, don't add salt to your beans when you bake them, because, or when you are cooking them, because it makes them harder to cook and they just have to cook longer to soften up. So I never add salt to my beans until after they're cooked. So I'm just going to put a lid on these, or let them come to a boil and put a lid on them. And after they are done cooking, then I'll come back and I'll show you how we'll put together our lima bean cornbread cake. Okay, we're ready to put our lima bean cake of cornbread together. I'll show you the lima beans and how they turned out. And when they get through cooking, I like to stir them a time or two to make the broth get nice and thick. I just like that better than a thin broth. But what we're gonna do here, and in the oven I have a cast iron pan that we're gonna cook this in. Something's in my bowl. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is add some cornmeal. And I know that I'm heavy-handed, like I'll say a cup, but I'll put a cup and a half or more, and I know I do that. But if you go by what I say to do and not what I really do, then you'll be okay. And there's a little over a cup in there, I believe. And then sugar. This is only if you like sweet cornbread. And I'm gonna put, that's probably a fourth of a cup of sugar. Then I want the mixture to be well bound together, so I'm going to use 2 eggs. And then I'm going to use a little milk. I don't want this to be too thin. But I believe that's a little thick. And just keep adding milk until you get maybe a little thinner than a pudding consistency. Just stir that up. Get your eggs well beaten into it. And then you want your pan to be screaming hot with the oil. So now I'm gonna get that pan out. And I'm gonna pour some of that oil into my cornbread mixture. Just give it a little stir. And now I'm gonna pour back in just like a thin layer. I think I need a little bit more. A thin layer of the cornmeal mix or cornbread mix. I want the beans to be prominent, so I'm not adding a whole bunch of the cornbread mix. Then we're going to take our beans, and they can have a little broth in them, but you don't want them too wet. And leave a little edge around the side so that the top cornmeal can reach the bottom cornmeal and kind of enclose it. And I think I told you, you can use whatever kind of beans you want. I just love Lima beans. And so I believe that will be good. And I meant to add some things on my bottom before I added this, but I forgot, but that's okay. So let me grab a fork. And I meant to add these jalapeños underneath the beans, but it's not going to make any difference really. And just scatter those around. If you don't like jalapeños, don't add them, or you can add the tamed jalapeños, which is what I use a lot of times. And so there are those. And then I thought some banana pepper rings would be good. They give a little bit of a bite. And I think that's what beans need, is a little bit of a kick or a bite. Makes them better. So I'm adding plenty of these. Okay. And then those two things I had planned on putting on the bottom, so you do what you want about where you place them. Then I'm going to add onion, because you have to have onion with beans. Now we're going to add, I'm going to kind of spread that down just a little bit. Now we're going to add the rest of our cornmeal mix. And we're going to put it in the oven on 425 for about 30 minutes or so. Just watch it. And when it gets nice and golden brown, it'll be ready. And when mine is golden brown, I'll be back. The lima bean cornbread is finished. I'm gonna bring it up and show it to you closer. I've let it sit for about 5 minutes to help cut it. And someone sent me a pie cutter, but I can't find it. So hopefully this will cut easily and not fall apart. And it did go about half an hour. A little bit at the bottom stayed in there. That's okay. So here is what it looks like. There's the side that's still in the pan. But I think it looks really good. I really feel like it will taste good because I love to eat cornbread with beans with the other things in it. So anyway, remember you can use any kind of bean you want. You don't have to put sugar in the cornbread mixture. You can use whatever spices or seasonings or like the jalapeños if you don't want those, or you want something different, just whatever you want to make it how you and your family would like it. So I appreciate you watching. It always means the world to me. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.